Had a week off after the World, so I travelled up through France, had a couple of days in different places, and the week after did a bit of unstructured training, a bit of mountain biking, a bit of trail running. This is the first full week of back to training for 2022. So. Watched the first video that we did, and one of the main things I said at the time was there'd be a lot of ups and downs. I think there has been. If I look back at every sort of individual race, I don't think I've shown my full potential that I've sort of shown in training. So I've not put it together, whether that's been a mechanical, being knocked off, me crashing one of the first races at the Yorkshires just by hitting a pothole, messing up transitions or whatever. You know, I've not had where I think I put my full potential together. When I look at the stats, when I look at the figures, paces that I'm running now, look at some of the powers that I'm putting out, looking how confident I am on the TT bike, look at my position, you know, compared to this time last year, I think there's been a massive improvement. I don't think I've got any results that have shown that yet. Again, looking back at the original video, it was all based on next year. I'm in a good position right here, right now. You know, I've looked at sort of some of the weaknesses that I need to improve on. Spoke to my coach, and we're going to work on them early part of the spring. Hopefully ready for the championship season, the Europeans and the Worlds, sort of the back end of the year. You and me know that I like to race. I like to train. But I train to race and not the other way around. So I find it difficult, and especially because I do shorter races. I tend to do more races, but I think that's probably affecting a little bit my training, my strength training, and, you know, trying to get into a rhythm. So I'm going to limit the amount of races that I do. I'm only going to do qualifiers, no other races, and the World Championships and the European Championships. And I think I will, moving into the Europeans and Worlds, have sort of quite a longer training going into both of them, and not necessarily have 2 or 3 races, which what I tended to do. Last year was all about you never knew when the next race was going to be cancelled or the next race was going to happen. So I think, yeah, it was slightly different. And I've always thought I raced better when I sort of had more races, and I don't think that is the case really. Less races, more training, more road work on the TT bike. Yeah. That's one of my big goals, is to get on my TT bike outside in the race conditions. Even though it didn't go right, the Worlds was a great experience, and I loved it. The whole atmosphere, I loved where we stayed. It was a great week leading up to it, and I absolutely loved it. So that was great, even though the racing didn't go quite as planned. I did a sprint race where it was nearly perfect, except for maybe one of the transitions where I felt like that was sort of where I was at from a point of view of putting everything together. I sort of led from the run, led most of the bike, then had a bad transition to where my calves seized up a little bit and sort of lost a little bit of time to the actual winner. So that was probably one of my favourite, where I felt like I progressed. And I think I have. You know, I've come from being a nobody probably to sort of be one of the, definitely in the next age group, but probably one of the top guys. So going into the next season, which I think that's where I just wanted to be at the point end of the race, and I think that's where I'm at now. Building on the bike, I mean, the run's there and thereabouts, so yeah, we need to tinker with it. I'd like to be a little bit faster, not necessarily to do a quicker time, running the same sort of time, but more relaxed, more efficient, and more maybe not draining myself as much for the bike and for the second run. So that's something that we've got to work on, which is a lot of strength stuff. We've got a bike fit with Matt Bottrell early January, and I think we're going to again work on the position, work on, you know, getting me as aerial as possible. I'm not the biggest guy, so I'm not the strongest guy, so I need to be as aerial as possible, and obviously I'm working with Matt. He's one of the best guys in the world, so I need to work on that specifically. It's just a matter of consistency, isn't it? It's just being consistent, because I will be fully retired next year, so I've increased my number of hours, and it says, well, yeah, but there's a trade-off. There's always a trade-off doing more hours. Are you going to get more, are you going to get more niggles? Are you going to get more injuries? So you lose that consistency. It's going to be a lot of tinkering in the early days, maybe trying to do 1 or 2 more hours a week, but try to keep healthy and fit and not have any injuries. My run was my strongest area. I think that's improved more than I thought it could do, and I still think there's definitely potential for more. That's one of the things that pleases me. I don't think I'm at my peak. I think I'm only coming to that peak. So that's one area where I've really been pleased. Transitions, I've worked on a lot. Technical side, and I always sort of pride myself on being one of the quickest in T1 or T2. I do look at that as as sort of an area. I put myself down on the bike, but I think I've improved. I've done a lot of training. I have seen improvement there. It's just a matter of, again, keeping that consistency together, keep doing what I'm doing, and just more of the same for next year. And hopefully I've got a year to build up to the next World Championships. And if I can make the same improvements that I've made this year, next year, I'll be up there with a shout of competing, definitely for the podium.